Lincoln tells General Scott to F off. We're protecting Fort Sumter. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me as always is Prospector Johnny. And this week, Prospector, I don't know how war hasn't started, but we'll get there. It's going to start off on March 29th with Lincoln responding to General Scott's request last week to just abandon Fort Sumter and Fort Pickens. And he's going to state, and I quote, "I desire that an expedition to move by sea be gotten ready to sail as early as the 6th of April, next to resupply and reinforce Fort Sumter." So he's saying, nope,
yes,
that's right. We're not abandoning. Major Anderson, we're coming, buddy. Just hang in there.
We got your back. After just 4 short months of you begging and pleading or whatever, finally we're going to send people to die there with you, should all of those cannons start firing towards you. So congratulations.
Should all those cannons start firing towards you? Yes. In addition to that, while the North is setting up and getting ready to set sail to Fort Sumter and Fort Pickens, Mississippi is going to ratify the Confederate Constitution, formally joining this nation on paper, at least. So, it's not a surprise. Every one of the seceded states so far that has joined the Confederacy, just slowly, one by one, ratifying their Constitution. The month is going to end on the 31st with Lincoln also formally ordering a relief expedition to Fort Pickens in Florida. And guess what,
Okay,
Johnny?
so we're going to Florida too. Not only are we doing Fort Sumter, we're defending all of our forts all of the sudden.
All of a sudden. Well, sort of, because guess what, Johnny? Can you just take a wild guess as to what's going to happen in Texas?
Oh God. We are going to start reclaiming the forts that we've been losing.
No, another fort, Fort Bliss in Texas, is going to be yielded to the Confederacy. How, again, we said this for the last 3 weeks. Is there anything in Florida not Florida, Texas, that's not a fort? Like, everything in Texas
it's just a bottomless pit of forts. That's every house in Texas declared itself a fort, and now they're giving themselves up.
On April 1st, Abraham Lincoln is going to give a sealed order to the captain of the USS Powhatan. These copies of these orders were initially held in confidence, but through my channels, I've learned that the orders are that the Powhatan is not to take part in the Sumter expedition, but is going to take part in the Powhatan. That's the boat that was chosen to go down into Florida.
You some kind of spy or some shit? What are you talking about? How do you know this?
I just have connections, Johnny. I'm a likable enough guy, and although I do hear rumors,
I don't believe that for a second.
I do hear rumors that I might be in trouble for my whole comments about General Scott. I think he might have heard. So as a lowly ranking staff officer, I'm kind of concerned that I might be moving positions soon. But we'll I
wouldn't be too concerned if they're trusting you with this classified information about what boat's going down to Florida. Or whatever it was.
Yeah, anyways, the Powhatan, it's going to be on its way down to Fort Pickens. Also, on the 1st, Secretary of State Seward is going to draft a letter to Abraham Lincoln on his thoughts about how Lincoln should proceed politically with the situation at hand. First, Seward is going to suggest that he is made prime minister in carrying out foreign policy with the Confederacy. So first off, Seward, I don't think you understand how America works. There is no prime minister.
No, that's not a thing.
Minister. That's a thing over. You can go to the England.
Go back to the crown. We fought to get rid of that crap.
We have El Presidente's, and he's certainly not going to make you El Presidente of dealing with the Confederacy. But what he's basically asking is for permission to go negotiate with the Confederacy, which we can't do, because if we do that, we acknowledge them as their own foreign entity, which
we're refusing to do. Yeah,
they're not a state, or they're not a nation. Also, Seward is going to suggest that Lincoln send emissaries to Canada, Mexico, South America, France, and Spain with word of peace.
Okay.
And essentially, that if any of these nations respond negatively to the word of peace, so basically going into these nations saying, "Hey, don't interfere in our squabble between North and South."
Basically, they're trying to make sure that the South doesn't go to them later and be like, "Hey, you want to help us fight the North, and we'll give you whatever."
and this is where Seward goes off on a rail, which I don't understand. He says if they don't respond positively, like say France or Spain says, no, we'll
We'll keep an eye
side
on the
with the Confederacy.
situation and figure it out.
He wants Lincoln to declare war on them in hopes
On that country?
That's on that country in hopes that somehow this would bring the Confederate States back in line as a mutual, like, enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, where they would join us to fight Spain as opposed to, I don't know, having Spain help them get their independence.
Is that
makes
not
no
is
sense.
that is that not exactly what we did to gain our independence? Was we used like what
Yeah.
Spain and France or something?
France, yeah, we sure did. And Spain, yeah, we sure did. Sure did.
How?
So
What?
I'm-
I think he's a southern. He's a. Get your intel to tell you he's a Southern sympathizing spy. This is garbage.
and he's our Secretary of State.
That's horrifying.
Lincoln. I sincerely hope you don't take this man's advice, because I don't see it going very well for us if you do. Now, on April 3rd, South Carolina is also going to ratify the Confederate Constitution, so the very first state that seceded from these United States
Yep.
is finally going to, join the Confederacy, I guess, officially by ratifying their constitutions. And there's another little thing that happens here today on April 3rd. What is that? Oh, yeah. Shots are fired again, Johnny!
Where on what?
Yes.
Shot again?
Yes, again, a Confederate battery in Charleston fires on an American schooner, Rhoda H. Shannon, and somehow, we're still not in war.
How is that not an act of aggression or an act of war or a declaration of war?
Yes, twice now.
The first one, I can see
Confederate
how
forces-
you can look past it. This one, they shot a boat.
The second time, yeah, they did this before. They shot at a boat that was trying to resupply Fort Sumter when Buchanan was president, and actually hit the boat. They hit the boat. This one didn't hit the boat, but they still fired at him.
That's
The
enough.
first one actually hit the boat, which is still enough. So Lincoln should be looking at this, going, "This is an act of aggression."
Yes.
They fired at our boat. That wasn't. It wasn't trying to supply. This wasn't a supply mission to Fort Sumter. It wasn't trying.
Also,
to
it doesn't matter because if they
Also
fire,
doesn't
it's an
matter.
act of war anyway.
So they fired, which should be an act of war, and it should also tell Lincoln that when you do actually get those boats to go resupply Fort Sumter, that they're going to be fired on. So
Yeah, you might want to protect them or do
We've
it
already
at
got,
night or
like,
something. I don't
maybe-
know what.
I don't know, maybe go to war, because they've shot twice now.
Yeah,
War of Southern aggression, fighting twice, firing at us twice.
I think it's high time we stop this whole charade of they're not their own real country and everything else, and if we ignore it, it'll stop, because clearly they're not going
not
anyway.
stopping. Not going anywhere, not stopping. The week's going to end, Johnny, on the 4th of April with Virginia voting down the Ordinance of Secession by a whopping 89 votes to 45. Virginia says we are not seceding. Abraham Lincoln, after this vote, is going to have a secret meeting with a Virginia Unionist by the name of John B. Baldwin, and he's going to discuss the potential of Virginia loyalty being traded in exchange for Fort Sumter being surrendered. It's like, hey, look, Virginia, we voted down secession. I can ensure that secession keeps getting voted down as long as you give Fort Sumter over to South Carolina. And Abraham Lincoln.
Why would that be a thing that he
would agree to? Well, Abraham Lincoln is not going to agree to it, because instead he's going to write a letter to Major Anderson that says, "Help is coming. Hold out till the 11th to 13th." Of April, and you will have your reinforcements. We're getting them ready. We're getting the boats loaded as we speak. Give us a week and a half. We'll have your reinforcements. That's this week in Civil War in Hindsight. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy this, check out Historic Hindsight, where we talk about all kinds of historical events, from Civil War things all the way up to crazy battles in 1980 over Falkland Islands and drugs.